What's up, guys and gals? It's your host of the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 222, 222 if you will. And this, of course, is continuing the fight between Tokita Oma, the Asura, our true main character, versus Sumo Stocks Be Rising 101, Kiozan. Yep, Sumo Stocks are rising because... though I do have a bit of an issue at the end of the chapter, and we'll sort of talk about that. But suffice to say, I like this chapter. I like the fight. I like the fact that this is going to be a very short review for the fact that it's just the fight. You know, it's been... I'm not going to say a long time, because plot is good. Character backstory and the lore and everything is good. I love character interactions and stuff like that. But the main thing about Asura, some of the reasons that you were able to speed through things in a sort of a timely fashion was, like, especially upon my reread, was because it's they fight. The chapter is they fight, and a lot of people going, you know, like, how did he do that, right? That's pretty much a lot of the fights in Kengan Asura. And Omega started with that a little bit as well. Suffice to say now that it's more dialogue heavy and stuff like that, so there's usually more to talk about. There's usually multiple plot threads, how characters are going to get involved, what characters are going to get involved, things like that. And especially the intermission chapters between fights and that kind of idea. But this chapter was simply a little bit of commentating, especially from Jackie, who I love how they're talking about how basically Oma is using up against a sumo wrestler. He's using redirection kata. Jackie explains it as using the focus of impact and all that stuff, right? Our Shen Wulong explains all that during the fight and stuff because he's using a sumo palm, like 250 pounds, a sumo palm. I think, is he two? Yeah, he's 220 kg, my bad, or something like that. Yeah, anyways. So hundreds of pounds of just straight up, force palm up against Oma's fist, and he's hitting the pinpoint, the point of impact, the point of what's able to basically disperse the energy, and basically re-explaining redirection like way back in the day, basically reintroducing us to the first few chapters of Asura when he was using redirection kata, right? So, and it's funny because Shen goes through this whole explanation on how it's working and stuff, and I love Joji. I love our main man, Jackie and Joe, just doing their thing, right? Because Waka's like, how did he do that and stuff? Do you know, Joe? And he's like, he tried really hard, I guess. Well, this is some good food. And Jackie's like, yeah, Joe, you're not wrong. Yeah. It's like, he tried really hard to stop a sumo wrestler tackle in his tracks and then stop a force palm with an even boing, sort of idea, right? So what I like about this is it's just funny coming from Shen because he explains this like we don't know how redirection kata works, and that Oma's like literally the pinnacle of redirection kata in the series. And then he basically goes, oh yeah. He goes, well, I suppose this is what they call in the Nico style redirection. Then again, I just recently did that too. Like, he goes through this all in his mind, exactly how it's working, and he's remembering his fight with Mukaku when he did it, and he's like, oh yeah, I guess I did that with the spear and stuff like that. So I mean, arguably, you could argue the fact that technically Shen, of course, is better than Oma at redirection kata, but Shen sort of counts as this anomaly in the series right now. I think most of the fan base is concerned. Until we figure out what's going on there, he's going to be counted as an anomaly and not the be-all and end-all as far as I'm concerned when we talk different styles and different abilities and that kind of idea, right? Like I would argue right now, the Rakusha's palm, the best user of it is Setsuna. Now, granted, I'm sure Shen can do a Rakusha's palm better than Setsuna. I'm sure he can do most moves than most characters better than they can do themselves. That's not the point, right? So, but either way, I love that because it's halfway through the chapter. It's a bunch of they fight, and it's just really well done, and I just really like it. It's short, sweet, to the point. We're seeing the impact, we're seeing the blows. Something we really missed, like Seki versus Okubo had quite a bit of this, but in Asura, like every hit felt like bone crunching, felt like organ destroying. Every hit felt like slam. Holy crap! Even one simple punch, right? So I really like the fact here that we're getting some of that back, and I really like that. So Yeah, so the rest of the chapter, though, there was the one complaint I had. So we go through all that. He's using redirection and stuff, and Waka's just like, yeah. And this is Wakatsuki talking, and I like seeing Waka back. A lot of people shit on Waka, but I really like Waka. But he is basically saying, Kiozan, like you're sort of falling into his endgame, into his trap, and I think it was really weird this last panel one of the last panels, because Oma basically takes the throw a second time, gets thrown down after parrying and stuff like that with redirection, takes the throw down to the mat, and then he uses the big leg sweep, boom, down to crush Oma. It looks like it impacted Oma, but then we see Oma rolling away, and he doesn't seem like too out of it. He seems hurt, but not like he just took a sumo wrestler's complete leg strike down on his body. So I'm going to assume that it was meant to look like it was impacted, and he actually did dodge, but it was sort of confusing at first. I'm not 100% sure, though. You guys can let me know if you think he actually took the hit and then got out of it, but that would be kind of weird to me. It's like, if he hit and the leg was down, how would he just roll out of it? You think all that weight, right? So I'm sitting here going, no, he must have just dodged and it just looked weird. It was like, oh my god, hit. No, he didn't, right? Just by the skin of his teeth, he got out of it. So, and then Wakatsuki brings up the fact, because Oma's sitting there like, whoa, I knew he was, going to be a tough opponent, but this, whoa, almost like, damn, this is actually a lot harder than I thought, doing this head-on battle. And Wakatsuki goes, yeah, you're in for a surprise here. Kiozan, and this is why people are saying sumo stocks going up, ever since, sure, he might have lost in the Annihilation tournament, but he has won every Kengan match since then to date. He hasn't lost. It's like, whoa. So he took that loss to heart, right? And the sumo stocks just keep rising, boys. They just keep going up and up and up. And I'm sitting here going, all right, cool. Because I like Kiozan. I got no reason not to like him. He's a pretty good character. He's not one of my favorites, but nothing really to dislike about him. And yeah, so that's the end of the chapter, but as I said, I do have a problem here at the end of the chapter, because it was a fun chapter, good chapter, and we got our Joe and Jackie combo. I think they should be the commentators. Like, I love my Jerry Tyson and stuff like that, but I really, really need just Joji and Shen to constantly be eating food, drinking beer, and watching and commenting on Kengan matches. I think the rest of the series could just be that. Forget the worm plotline, forget the fact that Shen is the connector and he's evil and all this craziness. Forget all that. Let's just have them just eat, drink, and comment on all these matchups. It'd be a fine series to me. But the one problem I have is the fact that the sumo stocks are going up. Not the fact that they're going up, but the fact that they're like, he hasn't lost the match since the Annihilation tournament. Holy crap. Then we see the record, 12 wins to 1. Now, at first, had this been at the beginning of Omega, I would have said, alright, because Kengan matches, sometimes you wait months before a Kengan match, right? And that's fine and stuff like that. So a few years, you're only in 6 or 7 matches. That makes sense. Or, if there was a lot of up and up stuff like that, and especially if you're hitting it good, you would actually be in more matches, right? So 12 matches since the Annihilation tournament seems okay in theory, but when we think that we've had the time skips and stuff, it's been actually plus 5 years. I believe we're currently in our 7th, if not our 7.5 years since the Annihilation tournament. Could be wrong slightly on that time, but I know it's plus 5. I think we're into our 8th year. That's where the current timeline's at, since the Annihilation tournament ended. 12 matches in, let's even just do 7. Let's ballpark it at 7 years. 12 matches in 7 years. Yeah, that's not even 2 matches a year. It's not as impressive. We're building the hype. Kiozan is giving Oma, of all people, a run for his money, and I mean, Oma's being a little thick-headed and be like, no, I'm gonna play his game. He's doing some people come in and he's doing the Fang, he's doing the Agito thing, right? It's like, first he wants to play him at his own game, but then he'll revert. I don't think Oma's gonna revert necessarily, but I mean, he might have to. He might have to pull out all the stuff because Kiozan's stronger than he thought and stuff. And I don't want to take that away from him. But 12 wins over half a decade plus, only being in 12 matches and winning them all isn't nearly as impressive as Waka is making it sound, considering hasn't Waka won 400 Kengan matches? I know he's older and stuff, but the fact of the matter is that it's not nearly as impressive. The Wakatsuki 400 wins to like 2 loss thing when we first met him is not nearly as impressive as this 12-1 stuff. It would be if Kengan matches were like they are only held once a year sort of idea, or like there's only like 2 opportunities per this, that, and most fighters get injured, they can't fight every 6 months or something like that. It'd be more impressive. 12 just over more than half a decade does not sound nearly as impressive. I sort of wish we hadn't gotten the total, because when Waka said he hasn't lost a match since, it was like, damn, so this man's been improving. He took that loss to heart and he said, no, I'm not losing again. I'm going to stay. I'm not going to walk away from the Kengan matches. I'm going to stay in the Kengan matches, and we're going to do this, right? But then we got the record, and I'm just like, hasn't it been like 12 matches in 7 years? I mean, it almost sounds like you could have cherry-picked your opponents at that point, you know? You were just waiting for the one, no, I don't think I'll fight that guy. No, I don't think I'll fight that guy. Oh, that company's got that guy. Yeah, I think I can take him and stuff. It's not feeling as impressive. I almost wish we hadn't gotten the record, you know? Because, yeah. I feel like a lot of characters from the Annihilation Tournament could get 12 wins in 7 years. Adam Dudley could do it. Cosmo could do it. Sao Pang could do it. Of course, higher tiered guys like Waka and Gao Lang and all these guys, they could all do it. You know, not even speaking about like Oma and Agito and stuff. So Seki could do it. Okubo could do it. Like, 12 wins in a row is not surprising for someone from the Annihilation Tournament to me. It just really isn't that impressive to me. Hell, I'm sure Rahito, before his advancement in the Berserker Bowl, I'm sure Rahito could win 12 matches in 7 years. Maybe not all 12, I'll grant you that, but I don't know, man. I just feel like that's not nearly as impressive. But once again, don't want to end it on a low note. I still say that this match is good. Kiozan's still looking strong and in shape, and Super Stocks still rising. I just think that the way they announced, like, hyping him up and then giving us too much information sort of idea. They thought it was a cherry on top, and it was more like damn, seeds, you know, like, So, anyways, but that's it for me, guys. That's chapter 222 of Kengan Omega, of course. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I thought it was a really good chapter. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I think it's just going to be another one of those day fight chapters, and I'm here for it. That's why I read Kengan. I really like the character backgrounds and the story and stuff, but realistically, it's all about that action. It's all about the fights, right? I'm reading a fighting manga for fighting. No, I'm definitely reading the fighting manga for romance. 100%. Slice of life romance. That's why I read Kengan Omega. 100%. But thanks guys so much for watching. See you guys back here next time. Sayonara.